same, then that condition, that factors out into being true. So I had that idea, and I thought maybe we could do something like this. So what I decided to do is say that if there's a real that is not any of the named, I gotta fix that 'cause that's a typo and that'll cause problems. Not any of the named real sections, and it's not 7, then we want to convert those into an int. That's what we do here, and then we take those, and this is really what I thought was interesting, is we just do this. So we have till run treal1i, treal12, treal13, in this case I, all those, and then whichever one's not an int, or not one of these 5 up here, or 6 rather. So we're checking for the break too, although we probably don't need to do that. I just have it there just in case something happens up there and it gets by. And it just, instead of being something that would be, 5 times as long as what the longest one of these is, it's just, really compact. And I checked it in the test bed program, and it works out just fine. I even tried it with additional, an and in it, and it worked just fine with what we had there. Was factoring things out correctly. So it was saying stuff was true when it was true, and stuff was false when it wasn't false, and wasn't activating that code that we had in there. So it works just fine. That said, you just never know until you actually try it. I mean, semantically, it seems to be fine. But we'll never know. You just never know what the actual operating is going to do until you actually try and use it. So it's going to have to wait for later. So what we're going to do now is, as I mentioned, we have the keyboard. We're going to go ahead and I also, what's this, be valid. Okay, we got to fix that stuff too, though. But I also went through and fixed all the stupid tab indexing that code blocks did, because apparently it was, doing things incorrectly. Because there's a bunch pretty much everywhere. Look at this, just all the way through the file. All this green you see is from tab indexing fixes from code blocks. Some of these were properly indexed, but they were also already existing. Probably from the code here. I think all the code that we added over in code blocks is going to have to be fixed like that. See, indexing code blocks is also trash. Another reason not to use it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and work on the audio section of stuff here right now. I have the pre-bat test thing that we had going on before up now. Things are going to sound a little bit different now because I'm running the audio from from everything into my headphones instead of through the speakers. So the quality of the audio might be a little bit different because my speakers are 48,000 hertz or kilohertz or whatever that is that it measures the I think that's the one we're writing right now, to be honest. So of course I wouldn't find it. Yeah, the hertz. But the headphones I have are only 32,000 hertz, so there's a slight drop there. And probably a difference in the quality. But I'm just doing that because don't be making a lot of noise right now. And also, I'm kind of getting tired of having to edit the microphone audio for when the speakers are going, and that kind of gets annoying doing that because you have to find it, and sometimes it's really messed up because I talk over it or talk over it when it's starting, and it's hard to find the beginning. So I'm just not going to do it for this recording session. Maybe for others. Anyway, but here's the, if you have forgotten it, here's the pre-battle audio. So I made some changes to it before, after I did the recording of making it. I actually went back and did a couple of changes. One of them was to add in this reverb, fruity reverb. If you turn this off now, you'll hear what it sounds like. Sounded like originally, just from the scdv10 stuff. Now contrast that with how it sounds with the reverb. You can definitely hear the reverb in there. I think I went a little overboard with it. So we're going to try and edit it a little bit here. We're going to take down the bass. And we're going to take down this for the high cut size. We still want to have that though. So what the delay is determining is when the echo is going to start. So if you put it way up here, if you put it at the very beginning, it's going to happen right off the bat. And you can't really hear it that well because essentially, I think this is the length of the note that you're playing. That's playing and when you want to start the reverb at within that note. So if you start at the beginning, by the time the note's finished, you're not going to be able to really hear the reverb. So you want to start a little bit after, but you don't want to go way overboard because then it starts bleeding into the next one, and that can get really annoying. Audioly, because you have all this noise going on at the same time, and it kind of meshes together and makes it just sound kind of instead of kind of more concise and threatening. So let's set the delay a little bit higher. And let's see, sorry. Okay, so when you go off the side, off from mid, if I'm hearing this correctly, from the middle you get more of an echoey sound. From the side, it's more of just a kind of a blast back at you. See, you don't really hear the echo after it stops. It just kind of goes, duh. There's a little tiny echo, but it's not as much as this. Now listen to this. At the end when it really stops, that's when you're going to hear the most difference. So I'm not really sure what the ER dry and wet stuff does. Alright, so the dry is kind of setting the volume, I guess. So that sounds pretty good. There's probably going to be some more tweaking I'll do on it, but for now, that seems pretty good. What I want to do now is I'm going to go in here and maybe edit up the sound in Zeta Plus, or maybe take a gander in the, maybe take a little editing in the piano roll here. So essentially what I want to do now is I'm going to add a little more staccato to it. In other words, we don't want it to be too more drawn out, but we want it to be kind of just right in the middle of being too short but not too long. that you do more in the actual note length, but we're going to try and do a few things here. For one, the cutoff, you can make that shorter. So that's kind of an interesting little sound we got going there. We'll see how that goes. Set the piano roll up in there. Now, what I want to do now is, we have these here. I want to lengthen that for 2 beats. So these ones at the very end, just lengthen them by 2 beats. Or they have to start. No, I guess it's the starting one. That's what it is. Not the ending one, the starting one, so. We're essentially lengthening this by 2 beats. Alright, start again. So I wasn't keeping track of what I had moved. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Right? Yeah. So normally they're here. Okay, so 2 more. Essentially 11. Maybe not beats, maybe it's half beats. 4 beats in a measure if we're going on 4/4, which I'll assume we are on this. So that would be so these are now 8 half notes and 16 quarter notes. So it's So I guess that would be a total of, so removing a 2/4, so removing 1/2 note essentially. Lengthening it, really, not moving it. Let's see what this sounds like. I'm just going to stop real quick and explain why I changed what I did when I said we're going to try and do something else. By extending the length of these first notes here, you actually make the other one sound more staccato. It's a little trick you can do, like Jedi mind trick. There's a lot of things that the brain will kind of do to you that you don't necessarily recognize, and this is one of them where sounds that sound longer will make sounds that haven't changed sound shorter, just by the evidence that they are shorter than what the original sound was that you remember from before. The brain really is a piece of work, if you think about it. There's one we forgot to do, isn't there? I think so. It doesn't look the same size as these other ones do. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. There. So the trick of this is to try and lessen the edge on it, if you will. We don't want it to be kind of huge, blaring, really sharp, because that can get annoying really quickly, and also, in some cases, cause headaches and whatnot if you listen to it for too long. What we're trying to do that is now kind of take that jagged knife point edge and turn it into a gentle slip, if you will, if you want to visualize it that way. Instead of being a knife jabbing into your eardrum, we want to have it be a nice, soft, kind of half-circle shape that's being just maybe rubbed on your eardrum instead of jabbed into it like somebody's trying to kill you. So that's what we're trying to do with that. Take that edge off, make it less annoying, but also keep that same kind of intensity behind it. I think that works fairly well. There's still, again, lots more tweaking that can be done and changing and changes and whatnot. But I think that's good for now. So we're going to save that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this and we're going to reopen it, because FL Studio 11 at least is just, it loves to crash when I try to open up these files other two large files from anything else other than an empty thing here. Epic 2, I believe, is the one we want. So I also did some work on this before uploading it to YouTube, and you're going to see that now. I went through and I redid every single bloody automation clip because it was just not working out right, and I just went through and I fixed everything essentially. Now we gotta get this stupid thing up here. I think this is it. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. All this stuff is different now. It's not quite as, we're not going up and down, we're not going too high. It's all just kind of small slopes designed to where is the bottom of this thing? There it is. I'm gonna pull that up a bit. Just designed to try and get everything to kind of mellow together, except for this one. This, you just go up and it stays at this point. That's another thing about automation clips. Once you put it at a certain height, that's what the volume will be. Or to change the volume, you have to make another automation clip to change it from there on. What I also did was, I went in and as you can see up here, up in this case, I super toned down the trumpet because it was just taking over everything on the higher section and in the middle section too. And that's what that is essentially. It's just me going in and setting the volume for the trumpet lower than other things. And I also added in the automation clips for the new sections that were the smaller 2-measure sections. Added those in too. So here's the, in case you've forgotten it, here's the full gamut of this. So as you can tell, the trumpet still comes through pretty clearly here, but you can also hear the things behind it before. Like, watch, if I turn off these two clips here, and we just go play from, say, starting here. I'll start back a little bit more. Now let's listen to the trumpet in these. It's insane. Not so much this one, but the next one is. There's multiple trumpets being played. Okay, that's kind of my fault because I forgot. Once you do the automation, whatever it's set at the beginning is where it starts at. So, those are being played as if they're staying flat at the beginning of this instead of arching up. So, just, well, you know what it is from the previous recordings and stuff that I've done, and developer vlogs videos that I've done this in. So you can just go watch some of those, and you'll get the idea of what it was like before that. It was just like huge. The trumpets would take over everything, and you couldn't hear anything underneath, and it was just really one-dimensional, really, not even two-dimensional. Just taking them down a bit allows the others to kind of come out. It works a lot better. While I was listening to this, I was just thinking about like some of the changes I'm going to make to this once I start actually making changes and deviation from the original final preparations, which was based on the software. I'm thinking is right here we just continue with this again. We just do another one of this. Just go done. So like and just have another one of those again and start over this whole up down thing. Just forget this middle shift thing that happens. I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds good with the original, but I want to kind of differentiate from that. I think that'd be the first good step, but we're going to leave it as it is now, because the first goal is to recreate as close as possible Gnave's final preparations before we go in and start changing it. So it's set. We get the base, because I'm going to be using final preparations as the base kind of thing to work on. And then we're going to be peppering in stuff from Eternal Sonata. Stuff, not actual parts of it, but like ideas and theory and some of the different kind of patterns that are used in Eternal Sonata. Not Eternal Sonata, Moonlight Sonata. Sticking to the game for some reason. Just kind of differentiate, and then I'll start adding in just some of my own kind of personal musings and whatnot about it. So, here's where we're at now. So this is, I think, right before it starts kicking into high gear on the actual song.
Preview.
Maybe not. Yeah, here it is right here. So we're about halfway through the song at this point in time. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in that second percussion line. The kind of the bass drum snare in the background that you hear. But I'm going to add those in now.
Preview. Preview. Preview.
I guess, when does that start at, though? I guess it doesn't start till up here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't start till that part. So, there's a couple things we need to kind of, like, identify now. So, at the very beginning, up to that part where it starts at the faster section, you might have heard that kind of deep boom in the background. That's not a bass drum, it's a timpani. And I want to add that in too. But we're going to work on the bass drum roll, snare drum roll, and the snare kind of done up here. And, Again, it's so hard to tell if it's going dun dun or dun dun dun. I think it's just double. I think it's like with the wood block. If it's going at the end, the second part going or going, or there's 3 or 4 beats on there. I think this one's only 2 though. So that doesn't happen until this section here. So let's go ahead and create a new pattern. Call it snare norm. Oh, the friggin' automation clips there. Then we need to create a snare roll. And then bass drum. Alright, so snare norm. Now essentially what we'll do is just we'll create a clip instead of a track. So we'll just have it going, and we'll just use that clip over and over again. Kind of like what we'll do with this one here when we fix it up. Instead of just doing everything over and over again in the piano roll, we'll only have it doing a small part, and then we'll just reuse the clip as needed. So let's see, clap, kick, hat. Channels, add 1. Need to add in a guess a drum kit, drum pad. Not really hearing anything. So, load snares. So now that's not what we want to do. More of an acoustic. Let's see. Interesting. The USB bandwidth isn't enough to keep up with really. I guess it's just the one key, I guess. Has a little trouble keeping up with. Anyway, so snares. So this is more like it has the actual snare sound. So this is a snare that doesn't have that on it, I don't think. So I have no clue what any of those. these things actually mean. One problem is, though, I've got to turn the key velocity up. Alright, so let's see. Let's see if we can load something that sounds a bit better. It's kind of too soft, though. D and B. This was a fast. Actually, there's a faster way to load, isn't there? There we go. Oh wait, what the hell? These arrows don't actually do anything, do they? Maybe they do when the program's not lagging. Well, let's find how do you do. Yeah, because it's not going to respond. It's just totally lagged out. And that's not what I want, 'cause it's already open. What we want is FL Studio. The thing with the, like, jalapeno in it, not the traffic stop cone thing. So. I wonder if we actually have a proper drum thing in here somewhere. We'll just start here. I gotta put this back up too. Alright, channels, add one. Biohazard's kind of one of those things. That's more of like a beat generator, really, I guess. It is crazy looking too. Let's see. Let's replace it with something else. Well, let's see. What do we have for orchestral? What's in there? So we do have a timpani. Orchestra kit. So, key percussion. Glocken. So that's on, so 9 and 10. So channel 1, port 5. So 9 and 10. Replace with a MIDI out. Channel 1, port. Or no. It's port and the channel changes. So port 1, channel 9 or 10 in this case. Of course, nothing seems to happen. Well, let's see what happens. We'll put it in there, and then we'll put it over here. Paint it in. No, nothing. Alright. Place with... So this is the same thing. So really this is using the... it's got this up here. What this is essentially what orchestral is, just a MIDI thing, essentially a MIDI interface for the drum pad. So you know, these arrows don't do anything. Alright, back to snares. Let's see, so that's kind of close. Kind of close. So that was what, hardcore 3? Epic snare. That sounds like friggin' gunshots. That sounds like the gunshots from Home Alone. Home Alone when he's got that movie playing and using the firecrackers underneath the thing. Playing that old gangster movie. It's hilarious. Hardcore 4? No. Wish there was an easier way to load these damn things. No, it's going bigger. I want to go kind of smaller but more precise. Like a military drum, another military snare kind of sound. That's what is exactly being used in there. It's kind of a military snare. That's more of a kick than a snare, jeez. Yeah, kind of not. It's like in between somewhere. There's some parts of it that are what we're looking for, others are not. What about lo-fi? I don't know. That's more of a techno kind of thing. Maybe a dance snare. Derp, that's the same one I just had. Jeez.
Preview.
My crappy timing on that. That kind of sounds right though. It's kind of right. It needs to be dropped down a little bit. Let me see. How do we determine? What's resonance maybe? That kind of the background kind of shaking thing.
Preview.
That kind of works, yeah. Again, we don't want to be exactly the same, so it's good to have a little bit of differences between the two. I think we'll use that. I think that works pretty well. Now we gotta work on that drum roll. So snare roll. Essentially, I want to copy this, clone it, and let's see the snare roll.
Preview.
And that's going to be hard to duplicate just by listening to it and, you know, trying to match it with whatever's the other things, because it happens so quickly. So I think it's going to be 10 beats long, or rather, it's going to be 10 hits or whatever you want to call those, 16th notes or whatever. Really damn small notes, and then that goes up into this going. So let's go ahead and switch to snare normal. Okay, so we go on pattern. Not quite. Too much. So I'm thinking is less. Well, it doesn't matter because that's not going to reverb or anything. It's a single note, so you could do it just 1-1. So then that starts at the this section here. Now how often does it get played though?